Iga just won her 4th French Open title on the weekend, becoming the youngest WTA player in Open history to have 4 titles by just the age of 23. Now in this video I'm going to show you 5 reasons why I think Iga will go down possibly as the greatest women's player ever on clay. Iga's racket head speed is exceptional. She has what I like to call violent racket head speed. This is where you see the racket in the preparation phase and you don't see it again until the very end of the swing. Now her technique, you could say maybe it's an extreme grip on the forehand, maybe it isn't perfect technically in terms of the space, but what she does exceptionally well on that forehand side is that racket head speed. There's no let up, she really goes for that shot, she rips the ball and she has that massive acceleration through that point of contact. And this is what gives her so much topspin, but also gives her that ability to dominate her opponents. Iga's footwork is a joy to watch. She never stops moving her feet. She's always using those small adjustment steps to get in the right position, to build up that strong base, to then explode into the shot. This is the perfect role model for any juniors out there, especially the girls who want to look up to someone who has that perfect footwork that never stops working hard with her feet. Because of that exceptional footwork, you rarely see Iga in trouble. She always has time on the ball, she always seems to be in the right position, and she's always able to adapt to those bad bounces, especially that we get so often on a clay court. Iga uses the open stance exceptionally well on both the forehand and the backhand. Now this allows her to really load and explode. This is something where you're loading up on the outside leg. For example, on my forehand, I'm loading up on that right leg, and from here I'm driving into the shot. On the backhand side is the same thing. She really loads up on that left leg, so storing the energy in the leg muscles, storing the energy in the trunk muscles, ready to then uncoil whilst she explodes into that shot. So it's that load and explode. And this allows Iga to defend incredibly well, especially on those high, wide balls that so often occur on the clay court. The player is pushing you back with heavy spin, trying to push you out off the court. Iga is able to just get behind the ball, use that open stance, explode into the shot, turn that defense into attack, and turn the point around. This also leads on to the return of serve. Iga has the best return on the women's tour, I believe, and this is because she's so good at loading and exploding using the outside leg. Very often players will get stuck. They'll jam themselves up, especially on the wider returns, because they step across the body too early. So for example, let's say the opponent has hit down the tee on the deuce side and I step across with my right leg. Now I can only reach to here. So I can go with one step, I can do this, to here. As you can see, I'm not covering that wide down the tee serve. Now if I go with my outside leg first, so that left leg, it will look like this. Load up on the left leg and then step across using that power step as I actually hit the return. So if you study Iga's return, you'll see that she uses that 2-step footwork pattern all the time. So she's able to cover those wide serves with that 2-step pattern, left to right on the backhand side and right to left on the forehand side. But this also works really well when you want to attack the weaker serves, first or second. Now by doing this, by using that 2-step pattern once again, what she's allowing herself to do is step through that ball without stopping. So on the backhand, it'll be like this, left leg to right leg as she makes contact. And on the forehand side, it's right to left. So I can use that 2-step going for a wide serve, or I can use a 2-step going forward to take time away from the opponent. Now another reason that Iga's return is so good and so effective is she really shortens her backswing on both the forehand and the backhand. So on her normal forehand, we can see the racket's quite far back. but when she's returning, especially against the fast serve, she really shortens that take back. Just working with that coil off the upper body and then uncoiling on the forward phase. The same is true on the backhand side. Instead of having that big full back swing, she has that mini half swing just to simply block the ball and redirect it. Now, one of Iga's favorite strategies to use when she's playing a match is to take time away from the opponents by hitting on the rise. Andre Agassi style, Novak Djokovic style. So what does it mean to take the ball on the rise? When the ball bounces, it starts to go up, so it's rising, it hits the apex, and it starts to drop. And 90% of tennis players will hit the ball as it's dropping. So the ball bounces, it starts to drop, and then they hit. Whereas with Iga, she's looking to hit the ball before it hits that peak or around that peak. So as it's rising, she hits it. Which then allows her to be more aggressive because in general, she'll be inside the baseline doing that strategy. This reduces the amount of court that the opponent can hit into, but it also opens up the angles for Iga to play with. And she's so good at exploiting that open space and hitting those short angles to open the court. Now, Iga's open stance backhand allows her to defend incredibly well on those wider balls. Her opponent's attacker, you can see she's in big trouble. She was way over in the forehand corner. Somehow she still gets behind the ball. She slides into it on the clay. She hits that screaming open stance winner. And she does this time and time again. This is so demoralizing for the opponents. You think she's in trouble. You think you've got the point won, and suddenly Iga's in that fully stretched position. It looks like she should have no chance of generating power, but somehow she's still able to actually produce an aggressive shot. So you're loading up on that left leg, if you're a right-handed player, for your open stance. It's like I'm doing a semi-lunge onto my left leg here. From this position, you can see that my right hip is facing the net. From this position, I uncoil. So it's right hip is facing the net, to both hips are square to the net. Some players will even do a right hip to the net, so like this, and they'll pivot a 180 to the point where the left hip will be facing the net. So they go from this left lunge position to a right lunge position. And if you can try this, you work on that on your open stance backhand, you'll see how much effortless power you get from that uncoil. So there you have it, some of the reasons why I think Iga has the potential and probably will go down as the greatest WTA player on clay in history. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, click the like button, otherwise Paws will be upset. Leave a comment down below if you want to see any lessons in the near future. Signing off, Coach Simon from TTT. All the best and see you soon, guys. Take care. Okay, girls, it's time to start working on your footwork and your movement. Iga showed us how it's done. Let's get to work. Okay, girls, I want to see fast feet. That's it, that's it. Come on, come on, come on. Fast feet, Iga style. Never stops. What a good puppy. You still have lazy feet. I think you need to watch more Iga. Let's go and watch the French Open final again. She hasn't worked her footwork today. No ice cream for you. Sorry.